Hello and welcome to Tech24. I'm Annelise Borges. Coming up, voting for president by email or with an iPad? Yes, we can. The word of the week is election. And in today's show, we discuss the future of the voting process. And in Test 24, we check out the new console that promises to change the way you play. The Wii U hits the shelves in the US and in Europe in the coming weeks. Did you know that in the US, people can vote by email and using an iPad? Or that in Iceland, the new constitution was drafted with the help of social media? New voting technologies can potentially save time and money, allowing more people to take part in the election process. But some experts worry that security flaws still pose a risk and say that national elections are decades away from going fully online. Is e-voting the future of democracy? To help answer this question, Mark Edwards joins us now. Mark, let's start with the US, where one of the country's first online voting experiments was a big failure back in 2010. It was an internet-based system for overseas and military voters to cast their ballot. What went wrong?
Well, the DC Board of Elections and Ethics very kindly tried out a system where they actually invited people online to try and see if there were any security flaws in the system that they developed. And as you can imagine, there were. And within 36 hours, we had some very intelligent young members of the American society from Michigan State who had hacked in, and every time a person voted at the end, it played their university fight song. Now, another interesting part of that is that they actually found footprints from all the way to China and Iran of people trying to hack in. So it really has shown that over this 1 week test period, there were a lot of flaws and maybe set them back a bit in terms of their ability to develop, as we were saying, nationwide voting systems.
It was almost like they were trying to make a point then over there. Well, they're still testing different systems right now. In Oregon, for example, where disabled people were allowed to vote with iPads during a special election in November last year and during this year's vote.
Well, I think it's a fantastic thing, especially for people who are unable to actually physically go to a voting ballot. And also, yes, you can go to send in via mail, but that involves a lot of different things. Oregon is part of 11 states that have allowed this. Unfortunately, there are the remaining states. You do still have to go in by person, but all you need if you are in Oregon is a valid driver's license or your ID card, and you can do that. I think it's a very good step forward.
Meanwhile, other countries seem to be moving in that direction. For example, Canadian officials want to start electronic voting by 2013, and in Europe, the city of Geneva has been doing it since 2003, while Sweden and Latvia have also tested the process. But one of the most interesting stories, Mark, comes from Iceland.
I mean, this is incredible. A piece of legislation was actually passed using social media sites. Now, what they've actually done is they've encouraged people to come online and effectively to vote for something that they wanted changed. Now, in particular, you look at the capital, Reykjavik. They've got their own website there called Better Reykjavik. Now, for instance, you are a Reykjavik citizen and you feel that potentially in certain areas late at night there is not enough of a police presence. You could go online and petition for it. And if you get enough votes, then the city council is forced to actually put it out to vote and can pass on that legislation. So technically, you want your bin man to come on a Tuesday rather than a Thursday. Get all your pals involved, get all of their pals involved, and then hopefully you'll have enough people to make an actual change. And this is great. I mean, this is technology at the very forefront of making a difference and making things happen.
There's also another interesting example from Estonia where the whole process is done online. They even have their own name for it. They call it iVoting.
5 consecutive elections since 2005 have been used with iVoting. Now, they're very proud of the fact they've got a very secure national ID card. They're at the forefront in terms of e-commerce. They use that a lot. And so it's sort of a natural development for them. It's not really a big deal. It's just something they've been doing for years. And in fact, they've seen a 2.6% bump in the number of people voting. And I think that really is the essence of this. There are a lot of people these days who can't be bothered or can't physically go to the ballot boxes, and this would make their lives a lot easier. And it really is. It's the future. That's what we've got to be looking at. But security flaws.
Exactly. There are questions, though, that the questions about implementation that obviously need to be considered. For example, voter privacy. In democracies, votes should be secret. What are the solutions used in some of the countries where online voting is already underway?
Well, as you said, one of the biggest issues is obviously fraud and people voting twice, or even having access to the information and people finding out who you voted for. And I mean, there's different things they've been doing. Voter eligibility, where you've got a certain time frame, which they currently use in the US, where you've got a certain time frame to actually put your votes in. There's also the receipt of SMSs, so you receive a special code, much like the banking system where you purchase things online. Certainly here in France at BNP, you purchase something online, you receive a text with a security code in, you put it in. And also it's very important now with the advent of smartphones and tablets, those are going to have to be, we're going to have to be able to network all of those together. So it's going to be device recognition. How do we make sure that one device isn't being used by 10 different people, so that we can look at biometrics, which could be involved, or two-way authentication systems. I still think we're far away, certainly in the US and and in France as well. So.
All right, we still have a long way to go there. Thanks for that, Mark. We'll move on now because it's time for Test 24. Nintendo announced the successor to the Wii during the E3 in Los Angeles. Now, more than a year later, the Wii U is finally hitting the shelves. The new console supports high-definition graphics and has 2 gigabytes of memory, 1 gigabyte of system memory, and the same for game memory, which is 20 times greater than the previous Wii. It also features a new controller called the Wii U Gamepad with an embedded touchscreen that allows you to continue playing even when the television is off. The console will be released in 2 versions, a basic white version with 8 gigabytes of internal storage and a premium black version with 32 gigabytes of internal storage, which includes stand and docks. Mark, the Wii U promises to change the way gamers play. Did you play with it? What did you think?
I was lucky enough to have a quick go. I got my hands on it. Look, there was huge excitement at E3. We were wondering whether the big guns, Sony or Microsoft, would announce something. No, the Wii U has really taken a step. It's the first time Nintendo have veered away from a game-only experience. What they've done, I mean, we've got it's the first time they've also developed high definition. We've got a beautiful little gamepad that you can see here, and it really takes away the the playability from simply being remote to a screen, and it's the 8th generation, next generation console, and it's their first time doing a 2-way gaming experience. And I think in particular it's going to be something which for families, much in the same way as the Nintendo Wii when it first came out, was families a chance to play tennis games and mess around with that sort of thing. This is actually more of a chance to make sure that your children are able to go off and continue playing their game away from the TV, and it's this whole idea of being able to share. So we don't really, say you want to watch your favorite program on TV, your kids are playing on the Wii U, they can just grab the pad and take it aside. And that's fantastic.
Thanks for that, Mark. And just a reminder to our viewers, the Wii U is coming out in North America on November 18th, here in Europe and in Australia on November 30th, and on December 8th in Japan. Nintendo expects to sell some 5.5 million Wii U consoles by March 2013. That's all we have time for. Thank you for watching this edition of Tech 24. Don't forget you can give us your feedback on the show via Facebook or on Twitter at TechF24. And we leave you with a tapestry of footage tracing the cosmic and biological origins of humankind. Our Story in 1 Minute is the title of the video that gathers image from nearly 20 documentaries and movies. We hope you enjoy. I'll see you next week.